This video is going to outline a brief introduction to breathing technique. This is a fantastic thing to perform, especially if you're dealing with some dysfunction and pain, especially in the lower back or pain in the shoulders. What proper breathing can do for you, especially if you're an active person. When you are in an activity of transition or lifting, you can breathe properly to help take pressure off your shoulders, provide increased aerobic activity, and then also increase the stability of your lower back. So three great things from one simple but deceptively complicated exercise. So this is going to be something that you're going to want to work on often, and you're going to want to try to really get better at it as you move forward. So I'm going to show you three different positionings, one separate tactile cue. But I want you to keep into consideration that this is something that you can perform in a variety of different methods. So I'm just going to show you some basic ones, and then we'll go from there. So what I'm talking about with proper breathing, to get a good breathing technique, you're going to want to put your hand on your sternum, and you're going to want to put one hand just a little bit under your belly button. Those hands should be relatively flat, palms down. What you're going to do is then take a big breath in. You're going to want to try, the intent of this is to try to only lift that lower hand. So, as you noticed, there was no movement up here. You didn't see my shirt line move on my chest. You didn't see my hand rise up here. The only movement you saw was strictly through that lower hand. So, some guidance with this, some visuals. But what I try to imagine is I'm creating breath that's pushing down into my pelvic floor. I'm trying to create breath that's pushing out and trying to separate this hip space. And I'm trying to create breath specifically through my nose with my tongue flat against the roof of my mouth. These techniques tend to help concentrate that proper breathing. And then as you get better at it, you might be able to take some of those cues away to provide challenge. So, one more time. In an on the back flat lying position. I can perform this fairly well. If you're not getting that ideal push with your hand, you may even provide a little bit of weight. So go ahead and you can grab like a small weighted kettlebell or dumbbell and just try to really feel that push just under that belly button, and with the kettlebell you can really feel that big lift. Another thing, guys, as you get better at this, as you're concentrating on this breathing, it should be, the exhale should be twice as long as the inhale. So now that I've shown you that, there's a variety of different techniques you can do. Provide your body with challenge. Put yourself into different positions to try to get more out of this breathing technique. Also, when you're performing any motion accessory work that isn't heavy weights or high aerobic load, just simple movements, try to always perform this whenever you can think about it. So, hook lying position with the knees bent is the first and most basic style of breathing. So from here, there's 2 breaths in that position. Then what we can do is go into a prone position. This can give you more of a benefit in terms of learning how to do this. Hands flat. You're going to want to get like a pillow for your forehead to rest on. And then doing a belly breath through here, you should only see your lower back move. So see that rise with the hips. See that rise in my glutes as I'm breathing through my stomach, pushing it upwards. Good. And then the last but not least, I'm just showing you a variation or a more complicated style of position hold as you try to perform this breath. You could get into, for instance, a 90-90 stretch, and then simply just try to breathe in the up-lying position. And with every position you decide to choose to practice this breathing with, really try to facilitate core contraction. Try to get the best possible positioning you can with the position hold, and then also practice that breathing. So there's some basics. If you feel like you want more advanced holds with this, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, email, or comment below.